Hello, welcome, gorgeous beings of light. This is Ma Ra coming to you again from one of my favourite places in the world, which is down at the Tilba Cemetery. Or it's actually up, because it's right up on top of a hill. So just take a big breath in. Bring your awareness into the centre of your being. Activate your central column of light, opening up all of your chakras. Coming right into this moment. Connecting to the sun above you. The sun below you in the centre of Mother Earth. And the big golden sun in the centre of your own heart. Just awaken. Awaken that pure consciousness, pure source being of light that exists within you at the very core of your essence. Breathe that up into yourselves. And as you may be able to tell, the ocean's looking a little grey, and that's because the sky is greyer and we are expecting rain. Told by the Bureau, 100% chance of rain by 2 p.m. today. So I just wanted to talk to you about that. In Australia, we have a major crisis at the moment with bushfires and not enough rain. But everybody, the news and everything just keeps going on and on and on and on about the fact that it's never going to rain. And, you know, we're all going to burn up and all this stuff. I even have people contacting me from overseas about it. So obviously they're hamming it up overseas in their news bulletins as well. Look, I'm not saying the situation's good, but the bottom line is that we can all change this if we would just stop focusing on the negative. Just like in my last video where I told you or explained how you can order up your favourite table at a cafe or at a shop or whatever, to be available every time you go there, and you can order that up before you go, or you can make it a permanent booking like I have at the Tilba Teapot and Ella's Pantry in town here, so that every time I go there, no matter what time or day or night it is, I will get my favourite table, which has got the most comfortable chairs, obviously. That's why I order it up. But you can also, it's quite common that people will, pick a parking spot right out the front of where they're going. That's a pretty common thing now. It used to not be so common, but it is now that you can just ask to get a parking spot right out the front, and you can. And I've been doing that for 20 years, so I know that one works. But if we can get a parking spot and we can get our favourite coffee table, why can't we just ask for rain instead of carrying on about it not raining? Why can't we just pray, or however it is that you want to ask for it to rain and let it rain? Because everybody goes on and on about the drought, and you don't hear anyone going, it's going to rain, or it's raining, we've got rain, any of those sorts of things. No, everybody. And then it becomes this mass thing that the news bulletin predicts. I remember years ago when the last drought was on in Australia, and we have them because we're a big dry country, really. We have long, hot summers. Sorry, got a tickle in my throat. We have long, hot summers here, But I remember some years ago them going on about some El Nino. We'd already had 4 or 5 or 6 years of drought, and they were now predicting this El Nino thing, or whatever it was. The scientists were predicting this, and we were going into another 7 years of drought and everything. And God, people were going into a mass panic, and I just went, that's rubbish. That's not going to happen. When I tuned in, I got that it was going to rain within the coming 6 months or something. And that's exactly what happened. Within 6 months, we had bucket loads of rain. The drought was over. But you never heard anything about these wallies that predicted we were going to have drought for 7 years. It just all kind of went away. They were just like, they would never been wrong, blah, blah. That's what they kept. Their doom and gloom forecast had never been wrong, and everybody was terrified. But then when it rained, they didn't go, oh, we're really sorry we made a big mistake. They just It just disappeared. It was the same with the, oh God, that Y2K thing. If you've been around a while, at the turn of the century, they were going on about all the computers were going to blow up and not exist because, because the computer just had to turn over one day. And I just kept saying, this is a load of rubbish. This is a load of rubbish. And, people did stupid things like closing their bank accounts and everything because apparently the world was going to come to an end because we were turning over from the 31st of December 2000, it was 1999 to the 1st of January 2000. It was the most ridiculous prediction I'd ever heard. But, if it bleeds, it leads. That's the motto of the news. And so what I want to say to you is next time you're without rain, can you please just sit down and pray or imagine it raining or ask your guides and angels to make it rain? Or you can do it, you can ask them to keep you safe. You can ask your guides and angels to keep you safe. That's another thing that can happen. And so I've been in 2 places in the last 12 months where they've had no rain. They've been carrying on about a drought and I've just said, okay, I'll fill your raining tanks for you. In both places, I brought in, it's in the last 12 months, I got it to rain in one lot had 5 inches and then a bit later they had another 5 inches and then we had like 5 inches at the other place as well. So you can just ask for it to rain. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you do want and just ask for it to rain. You can also put up protection in times of, fires and stuff like that. You must have heard of stories of people where the fire's just charging at someone. The wind changes, heads down the hill, and then it changes direction and goes back in the direction it was going, and one house is saved in the middle of great devastation. There is an awesome testimonial on my website about a woman, Anya, who was in the middle of those really serious Victorian fires about 10 years ago when, 200, 300 people were killed. And all the farms around her were on fire. She had a little girl who was really scared. Her horses were going crazy and she was right in the middle of it all. And I just said to her, stop panicking, breathe, remember your 5th dimensional training, put 5th dimensional protection up around your property, make it 100-foot thick, and know that you will be safe. And there's a great testimonial. She tells the story of how the horses just settled down as soon as she put the protection up. Her little girl stopped being scared, and she was the only farm in the area that did not go up from ember strikes. Every farm around her was on fire from ember strikes, and she was the only one who did it. Now, if you want to know about that prayer of protection or that protection prayer and how to do it, on the winter solstice here in Australia, so that's June for us, I did a winter solstice and a protection prayer in there, and you can go have a listen to that there if you want to learn how to do that. But for goodness sake, stop living in fear and take your power back. You are an infinitely powerful being of light. All this stuff that's happening is trying to get people to wake up and remember that about themselves. That's all that's happening. And those that do will be the ones that survive, and those that don't will be the ones that go under. That's simply what's happening. There is an en masse awakening of higher consciousness here on Earth. And it's making us learn how to live from a higher perspective. That's all that's happening. And you can do that. You can choose that for yourself, or you can choose to continue to live in fear and suffering and pain and whatever. But that's not who we are. That's not what we were meant to be. Everything is energy. We are energetic beings, and you can connect into pure source light on the other side at any time. And that connects it to the pure source light within you, and begin to create what it is that you want, not what you don't want. And turn the bloody TV and the radio off. That would be my other very, very strong recommendation. Turn the TV and the radio off and just begin to live in peace, because all of that negativity is designed to keep you stuck and in fear. And while you have people in poverty and in fear, you have people in power. And that's not the kind of power we want to awaken on Earth. We want to awaken the kind that comes from love, that produces random acts of kindness, that cares for every human being, no matter what their nationality or race is. So, alrighty, so that's my quickie for today. Just know that no matter what they're saying, you can still create your own reality. And we all know people that have done that. We all know people who have been told they've got cancer and they're going to die, and they just go within, and 3 weeks later they're completely healed. There's hundreds of stories around about that. And, you know, cancer, unfortunately, is another great one that they use to control people. It's a terrible thing that they use to control people, that they use to have people live in fear, is the big C. But I can tell you that they gave me 6 months to live when I was 30, and I'm still here, and I've just turned 60. And I didn't. They wanted to chop up my boobs and chop up my fallopian tubes, and I hadn't wanted kids until they suggested that. And then I just realised, oh my God, if they chop up my fallopian tubes, I'll never be able to have children of my own. And I realised I wasn't sure whether I did or didn't want children at that point, but and then the opportunity arose to have them. But the bottom line is that I didn't do what they told me to do, and here I am, still alive 30 years later. So live by your own rules, you know. Sail your own boat. Find out what it is that you want deep within you, and then follow that goal. Alrighty, love, love, love. My deepest love and richest blessings to you all. Namaste, Espavo, and have a truly blessed day, and bye for now.